Hi guys, last video, just going to talk a little bit about strings in Java and string manipulation. I'm not sure how much of that you did in Python, and we're not going to do a lot in this course that's specifically focused on string manipulation, but it's a useful set of skills to have, and you need to know a little bit about what's available to you as a Java programmer if you need to process strings. Okay, so I've got if you take a look at section 5 of the guide up there on the screen, it's very short. It just makes the point again that I've made before that strings are objects. Later on in this course, in 2 weeks actually, we're going to start creating our own objects, and we're going to unlock really the potential of object-oriented programming. But for now, we're still just doing the basics. We haven't even done if statements and loops yet. That stuff's coming next week, and then we'll move into objects. But the string data type is, as I say here, it's basic and important to most of programming you do. You talk to users in strings, basically. You present strings to them as prompts, and you collect strings from them as responses in most cases. We already know that we can concatenate strings with the plus operator, but there's a bunch of methods you can call on any given string. And they're in the textbook on page 88, but just in case you don't quite have access to the textbook yet, this file that I showed you earlier, this one here, primitive types and strings, if you click on that, you'll find that page 1 of it is the page I showed you before with the primitive types. Page 2 gives you a list of string methods. So these are, if you have a string object stored in a variable, say s, these are methods you can call. So look, for example here, s.charat2 will give you back a character. You can see the return type is here. So the method name is here, the return type is here, and then this is an example of how to use it. Okay, so I'll just show you a couple of these, and then I'm going to give you an exercise to do. So I'm not going to talk to you for too long today, I hope. I'm going to create a scanner. I'm going to call it SC, system.in, like that. And we need, I believe we need Alt-Enter to import, there we go, the scanner class. And I'm just going to get a string from the user, sc.nextLine, oops, next line, like that, will get me a string, and then I'm going to do some stuff with it. So here's one really basic thing that you might want to do. You might want to pull the string apart character by character. So system out println s.char at 0. So characters, just like lists in Python and arrays. Hang on, I'm just going to run this with Control-Shift-F10. This should answer with whatever. So I type something, hello, and it answers capital H. So this is basically a string is a list of characters, and they're numbered starting at 0. If I want to get the last character, so if hello has 5 characters in it, they're numbered from 0 to 5. I could do s.length, which is a method that tells me how long the string is, -1. Okay, so let's just parse that. S.length is another method. Let's do a system out println of that. That returns an integer that represents how long the string is. And then if I go s.length -1, it'll tell me the last character of the string. So if I type hello exclamation mark, the first character is H, the length is 6, and the last character is char at 5, which is s.length -1, which gets me the exclamation mark. Okay, so there's some pretty basic stuff. You can also do some other things, like you can convert strings. If I go s.to uppercase, whoops, didn't mean to do that. Don't know why I did that. That's going to print out the string that I entered in uppercase. But here's the thing about strings. They are immutable. Here, I'll put that here. Strings are immutable, which means that once you've defined a string, you can't change it. You can create new strings out of old ones, and that's what some of these methods do. So to uppercase returns a new string, so it doesn't change s, it returns a new string that is the representation of that original string, but with all lowercase characters changed to uppercase. So let me run it again. Hello there. So you see, s.to uppercase created a new string, hello there, which it prints. But the old string, after that I print s, it's still the same as it was. All right, I'll just show you a couple of others, and then we'll call it a day. So I showed you 2 uppercase. There's also a 2 lowercase. There's a replace, which lets you replace one character with another inside the string, but it doesn't change the string. It just returns a new string. So you can see here they're saying s2 equals s dot replace. Now s will still be, I think, the string Java. Yeah, I think the string they're using here is always the string Java, but s2 will now be Jovo. So same here with two uppercase. S stays as Java, s2 becomes Java all uppercase. If you want to compare strings, there are equals, compare to, index of, last index of, and so on. We're going to go more into these later on, but here's a handy way to do this. You can say system out print line s dot equals Sam, like that. So this will only output true if I enter this exact string Sam. So I run it. If I enter Sam, the last line should be true. If I enter something else, like my name in lowercase, like that, it says false. Okay? There's also an equals ignore case, which you can probably imagine what that does. That will basically do a conversion before it compares. So Sam matches uppercase string Sam, but it doesn't match, for example, I am Sam. That doesn't match, because the string I am Sam doesn't exactly match this string Sam. If you want to find out if one string is inside of another string, so if I want to find out the user said something, did they say the word Sam, I can go system out print line s dot index of Sam, like that. And what this will do is this will return a -1. So I go I am Sam. It returns a positive number, which represents the location of the string I was looking for, Sam, inside I am Sam. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. See, this is location 5 inside the string, numbering from 0. If I do this again, and this time don't say Sam, I am Bob, exclamation mark, index of returns a -1 to indicate that it did not find that string there. I think there might also be a contains. Yeah, there is a contains. That's handy. So you can also change this to contains, which I believe returns true or false. It doesn't seem to be in the list of methods they gave you there, but I thought it was there. So if I type I am Sam, it should say true, which it does. It's the last one there. And if I say something else, it should say false. So that's a bit of an oversight on there. That's because that's kind of a handy one. I don't think it's there. Anyways, you can also do stuff like you can trim off the white space, the spaces and stuff on both sides of a string. You can pull out a piece of a string with the substring method, and you can concat you don't really need because you just use the plus for that. And you've also got compare to, which compares things in alphabetical order. So if S comes before whatever you put here in alphabetical order, it will output negative. If it comes after, it'll output positive, and so on. So I'm going to let you guys just take a look at that and read the section in the textbook. You can also go to the string class in the Java API and take a look there. But what I want you to do is kind of a culminating for this week, I guess, is exercise 5B. So it says, write a Java program that implements a 3-question quiz about some of the details of what you learned this week. Okay? So it says, try to get specific. After the user, so you might say, what language are we learning? That's not a good one, but what language is the Programming Java course about? And the user might type Java, or they might type it's about Java. They might type Java in all caps or all lowercase. What I want you to do is do your best to output true or false, depending on whether they got it right. So we haven't done if statements yet or loops or anything. If you want to look ahead and learn how if statements work in Java, it's not that different from Python, so you could do that. But otherwise, you could just print out one of these, like an equals ignore case, and it'll just print true or false. But here's the tricky part. Try to be as forgiving as you can. Right? So at a minimum, the user should still get it right if they get the capitalization wrong or if they included extra white space at the beginning or end of their answer. It'd also be nice to give them the right answer if they write it's Java instead of just Java, or Java is the answer. If the answer's in there somewhere, it would be nice to say true as well. But you might have to call several methods in a row to get all that to work and be case insensitive and all the rest of it. And if you can, I know that you guys might not have met each other much yet. I'm thinking about ways to get you guys to interact with one another You're a second semester, so you might know some people in your class or in another section. But if you can, have another student try the quiz. And I say, how did they do here? It's not just like how many questions did they get right, but did they get any questions right, but you said they were wrong? So I really want you to kind of test it here. Maybe they wrote the number 5 instead of the word 5 and got it wrong. You know, is your quiz being forgiving enough? And is there anything you can do to improve it? And if you want to do other stuff, if you want to go further and turn this into a little mini assignment, you could try using JOption pane dialogues to talk to the user, which is a totally optional thing, but it's covered in section 2.5. You can also look it up online. JOption pane pops up little dialogues that you can talk to the user with. And you might even want to think about making the output look better using the FX graphics template. If we go back to the guide here, I've ended with some I call it other cool stuff. This is all optional stuff. This JOption pane is a cool alternative to the scanner. And formatted output, I already covered this a little bit. I did show you a printf. There's also string.format, which works just like printf, which you can use when you're doing fill text inside of a JavaFX application. If you guys didn't already figure that out, you can do it that way. Anyways, so there's a few other things that you can try there. There's some useful links here. Those links are also in the Canvas shell. Anyways, that is it for this week. So I hope things went okay for you. Hope you had a good first week. Try to get all this stuff done before our live class, which I believe will be on either Tuesday or Wednesday of week 2. So our weeks are slipping a little bit. Week 1 slips a bit into week 2 and so on. But we'll take up this stuff then, and then I'll release some more videos for you to watch for the week 2 content. Next week we're going to be doing basically control structures. So while loops, if statements, and a bunch of other loops and selection statements that you can do in Java as well. And we'll talk a little bit more about strings then too. Okay, that's it for this week. Hope you had hope this went okay for you. I'll be checking in with you guys in the class to see how you guys are liking the format. But hopefully it's working out for you. And I'll see you in class.